Hey, my name's Terry Gray, and my final project is about counseling African Americans and the perspectives and practices and understanding unique counseling needs and cultural context. The importance of counseling African Americans to multicultural counseling was a historical context, which is understanding the historical background of African Americans is vital for effective counseling practices that tackle specific challenges, the exploitation of whiteness and privilege, inequities in education and healthcare, the tragic and irrational murders of black individuals throughout our nation's past and continuing into the present day. There's also cultural factors, which are cultural elements, greatly impact the mental health and must be taken into account in counseling to offer effective assistance. How do everyday incidents of racial violence, injustice, and discrimination influence the mental health and well-being of black Americans? What is the experience of working and living alongside individuals who do not regard you as a human being? And what is it like to reside in a nation where your rights are often under threat? There's also systematic issues, which is tackling systematic challenges encountered by African American community, which is crucial for comprehensive counseling strategies. Counselors have a significant role in aiding Black Americans to manage and recover from racial stress and trauma, but their responsibilities extend further. Specifically, they can also take action to transform an unjust and racist system that profoundly and adversely impacts the mental health of Black Americans. There's also, lastly, culturally responsive practices, which is focusing on culturally responsive practices in counseling guarantees improved mental health outcomes for African Americans. Studies show that African Americans are 20% more likely to experience serious psychological distress compared to white Americans, yes, are less inclined to seek mental health services. There's some essential elements of counseling African Americans, and first we have to understand cultural identity. Counseling should commence with a comprehension of cultural identity and is essential to clients' experiences and perspective on the world. Culture serves as a fundamental influence in shaping an individual's identity. Counselors who possess cultural competence are more adept at recognizing and valuing their clients' identities and the associated cultural practices. The social detriments of mental health. Socioeconomic factors can limit the availability of treatment options. In 2020, 10.4% of black adults in the United States lacked any form of health insurance. The black community, similar to other communities of color, is more prone to facing socioeconomic disparities, including exclusion from health, educational, social, and economic resources. Such disparities may lead to poor mental health outcomes. Last, we have to build a trust and respect with our clients. The therapeutic alliance should be focused on trust, respect, and cultural acknowledgement to foster effective counseling sessions. This can be done by understanding how racism and ethnocentrism operate with the aim of developing evaluation methodologies that are respectful of diverse communities and becoming aware of their attitudes, biases, prejudices, and resulting stereotypes. Failing to do so may detrimentally affect the establishment of trust with the communities they wish to engage. An analysis of the author's presentation. Counselor needs overview. There's the unique counseling needs of African Americans are deeply embedded in cultural, historical, and social context. The author also emphasizes the importance of cultural competence, urging counselors to understand systematic oppression and internalized racism that can shape clients' worldviews. The book highlights the dangers of one-size-fits-all approach and advocates for the recognition of intersectionality in the therapeutic space. Some effective therapy strategies would be community engagement, as described by the author, is crucial for effective intervention. Involvement of family and community leaders help foster trust and relevance. Culturally relevant practices, including the use of narratives, spirituality, and collective healing, are understood in the text as essential tools for working with African American clients. The author also stressed that ongoing development of cultural humility, encouraging therapists to recognize their own biases and engage in lifelong learning. The agreements and disagreements I have with the author is agreement that both the primary text and the author agree on the foundational need for cultural competence and the rejection of colorblind counseling practices. I agree that there is a consensus of significance of considering historical trauma and current systematic inequities as critical factors in therapy. Disagreement would be primary analysis tends to focus on African Americans specifically, whereas the author argue for translatability across diverse groups, encouraging counselors to adapt principles universally while still attending to unique cultural specifics. Another disagreement is the author's caution against overemphasizing cultural difference at the expense of individual factors, urging therapists to balance attention to culture with recognition of personal histories and preferences. Well, in conclusion, understanding the cultural context as emphasized by both the author and Sue is not simply a theoretical exercise, but a practical imperative for effective counseling. Counselors who are attuned to the lived realities of African American clients can foster deeper trust, empathy, and connection. By recognizing both historical and contemporary challenges, counselors gain insight into the source of resilience and struggle that shape client experiences. This perspective not only fosters empathy, but also counters tendencies towards pathologizing or victim blaming and adopting a multicultural perspective. I'm increasingly aware of the delicate balance between cultural awareness and the risk of stereotyping. The author warns that each client must be understood as both a cultural being and a unique individual. Personally, I find that the process of integrating multicultural therapy into practice is ongoing and humbling. It requires constant reflection, openness to feedback, and a willingness to examine my own biases and assumptions. In dealing with this personally, I grew up in Appalachia, Kentucky, where there was not much diversity at all. It was primarily a white community, and to be honest, it was fairly racist to grow up there and to get exposed to different cultures. That was a culture shock, to say the least, whenever I decided to join the military at 22 and was stationed in Washington, D.C. It was a big adjustment getting to know different cultures and even just different food to eat with, I would say, getting rid of my closed-mindedness. Ultimately, effective counseling with African American clients and all culturally diverse populations demands not just knowledge, but the courage to engage in difficult conversations about race, power, and privilege. It is in this space of vulnerability and authenticity that true healing and growth can occur, both for clients and counselors alike. As our society continues to grapple with issues of equity and justice, the lessons from the author remind me that counseling is, at its core, a profoundly human endeavor, rooted in mutual respect and a shared commitment to holistic well-being. These are the references that were used in my research for the project, and thank you.